Hello and welcome back to the channel, Dr. Math Tech. Um, I want to build an AI plus gaming PC build. How should I go about this? So I have delved into this sort of build that has become pretty common. It's not as budget. I have outlined the estimated total right here at $1,848. It's much more specific this time. But as a quick disclaimer, I will recommend that you look at the prices before you buy anything. Okay, so just to go over like a little bit on the starting screen, you got a heavy load at 375 watts. So I'd recommend a 750 watt power supply. It's just pretty quick. Okay. Um, so I sort of revised my building direction because I was thinking a Ryzen 5 7600 CPU, which is great for gaming and efficient, as I have put there, which is $277.58 on the most recent listing I can find, would be a pretty good option. And it is a pretty good option. That's why I've kept it in the build. But an alternative to that would be to step down the GPU, but step up the CPU and rather direct more of the budget towards that. So I chose the Ryzen 7 7800 X3D CPU, which is, I mean, you're going to be fine for gaming. You're going to be able to run pretty high on 1440p, and it is pretty efficient for AI models, seeming because it's a Ryzen 7. And the GPU step down comes from going from the 5070 Ti to the 5060 Ti. And I thought this was actually a pretty good move because you retain your 16 gigabytes of VRAM, which is more than enough, in my opinion, to run some pretty good things. And let's be real, it's not like you're going to need a Threadripper or anything or a Blackwell to, run AI or anything. But yeah, as you can see down there, more CPU quality for simulation, emulation, and CPU heavy games. Lower GPU cost, but you keep the 16 gigabyte RAM. So I thought it was a smart move. So here's the parts in order. You got $391 for the CPU. You see the motherboard, GPU, power supply, RAM, SSD, CPU cooler, and case. I chose a 2 terabyte SSD, which is different from what I usually say, specifically for the purpose that if you're running AI in higher quality games, you're gonna need a little bit more storage space. It's natural, but I made sure that this build was AM5 and DDR5 compatible. Um, it's hard to stress enough. Like I can't really do it, but I can't really stress enough the importance of AM5 because if you have the money or you want to save up for a new CPU, if you get an AM4 socket, you're out of luck because most CPUs are AM5 nowadays. So it gets to a point that if you are upgrading your CPU and your GPU, you might as well just get a whole new pre-built if you're going from AM4 to AM5 because you'd literally be replacing every single part in the computer except for maybe the RAM, or the SSD. Well, on to the next slide. This is essentially where the budget goes. This is just a quick one. You may pause here, of course. You can see the GPU takes up the most, and then second to that is the memory and the storage. A good investment that might be worthwhile, it'll take your total up to almost $2,000, would be to install 32 gigabytes of RAM as opposed to 16. Might be decent. It's just a thought. But I can say that the RAM prices are going down as well, which is good for all the PC builders. They went down 20% this month, which is decent. Not fully what we want, but regardless, still good. Here's our performance trade-off. So gaming, you can see all these disclaimers here that I've put. RAM choice, you can upgrade to 32 gigabytes. Local LLM, 16 gigabytes of VRAM is useful. You can see I've for 13B models, it's realistic. The speed is lower than the 5070 Ti though, which is okay in my opinion. Because if we wanted the Ryzen 7 and the 5070, then that would definitely be $2,000. But as you can see, we have the directions at the bottom of the Ryzen 5 7600 with the RTX 5070 Ti. Good build. And then the Ryzen 7 7800X3D plus the 5060 Ti, which I thought was a great build. I will say that there's content coming on the channel soon where we are going to compare my build versus my brother's build, and then my brother will install my GPU into his computer and then possibly switch around and I will play with his GPU. It'll be a really fun video, so I recommend you watch that. Here's the estimated wattage. You can pause here, you don't have to, but the main thing is the PSU recommendation, which is 750 watts. And this slide is designed to less than ideal. My computer crashed on me on PowerPoint. It might be time to upgrade. I have no idea. But the compatibility score, 90 out of 100. There's no meaningful bottleneck really. It's under 95 because the 7600 leaves the GPU's frames unused, but that's only if you get the 7600. You know what I mean? So the certified Dr. Mav score is my trademark for our formula here. Is 85 out of 100. So it's kept a little bit lower only by the value rating, just because you have a really expensive GPU and not crazy expensive CPU, but that depends on which direction you go. Because the Ryzen 7 with the 5060 brings the gap much closer together, in which I didn't measure that, but you'd probably get an 87 or an 88 out of 100, which is an extremely decent build. And I've outlined this before, but unless you have $5 million to spend on a PC, do not worry about getting that score up to 100. You won't, because unless you want to spend money on a Blackwell or an Intel Xeon or a Threadripper, the score is just not going to be 100. So this is a extremely good budget build for ultra gaming. Not quite ultra, but 1440p if you're looking for that. You can run ultra on 1080p for sure, and medium to low AI usage. You can develop and stuff, and I'm gonna ramble on just a little bit about AI a little bit. It's a big concern for people buying a PC because it's getting to the point where AI is expanding so much that if you don't have the proper requirements, you're not going to be able to run it. And it's gotten to a point where it's consequential if you don't run AI on your computer just to like do certain tasks and stuff. And it will make your day more efficient, we'll say, if you're a desktop worker. But you know, this is a good build if you have $2,000 to spend on a computer and you've been budgeting for this computer, and it's not like a instantaneous purchase like, oh, I really want this randomly. I would fully recommend this build. We just go through a little bit, like here's the prices again. Here's our budget and wattage, and yes. You can read these points on here if you would like, but otherwise, this is Dr. Mav, second video. This is the PC Builder series. This is the second one. And yeah, I hope this can be of help. Please drop your build in the comments and I can review, score it, make recommendations, and please like and subscribe. All right, everyone, I hope you have a great day.